Hey, it's number one best-selling author of Socialnomics, Erik Qualman, but most of you know me as Equalman. We wanted to pick the best parts of Bill Gates' brain, and what a beautiful brain it is. We hope his advice coming up helps you stay safe, stay smart, and also stay sane as we work our way through coronavirus in the quarantine. So please enjoy this advice from Bill Gates.
Well, I think it's a great time, mostly digitally, to talk to your friends, understanding the stress and uncertainty it's causing for them. Thank God the internet, looks to have the resilience that it's a tool for us to constantly see what's going on, have these collaborations. The foundation meetings are always virtual, so I'm learning about the rooms that people have in their house and their cats jumping up on their desk. It is a chance, where you can learn a lot. Thank goodness that the online tools, Khan Academy and the lead there's amazing materials. How do you develop that discipline? What does your day look like? When you're not able to go out as much. There's some tough adjustment. Ideally people would get a rhythm of, okay, I'm online doing serious stuff. I'm watching, videos to relax and entertain myself. These are some friends that I regularly connect up with digitally. I do think in the next couple of weeks, although there'll be immense tension, we'll fall into a pattern. And there's no reason that learning, at least for those who have access, shouldn't go on or, even to some degree intensify. There isn't a choice where you get to say to people, don't pay attention to this epidemic. Most people, they have older relatives, they're worried about getting sick. The idea of a normal economy is not there as a choice. About 80% of people are going to change their activities. If you get the other 20% to go along with that nationwide, then the disease numbers will flatten, hopefully in the next month, and start to go down, hopefully in the month after that. And then when they've gone down a lot, then in a tasteful way, using prioritized testing, you can start to reopen a lot of things like schools and work. Probably not sports events because the chance of mass spread there is quite large. Mm-hmm. And so to get back economically, taking the pain extremely now and telling those who wouldn't curb their activities, no, you must go along with the rest of society and not associate in a way that we have exponential increase in these cases, that is the right thing, even though it's extremely painful. It's unheard of. And there are particular businesses that it's catastrophic for. Mm-hmm. That's the only way you get so you can feel like you can say to the entire population, ideally in the early summer if things go well, yes, now please do resume. And we are, through testing, making sure that it won't spread in some very, very big way. So people will need the confidence that the system is working and smart people are making decisions. And over-optimistic statements actually work against that. Well, the very first thing is the social isolation, so that the number of contacts outside your household is minimized. And washing your hands, distancing as much as possible, those are going to cause this exponential growth in the infection to both level off. Hopefully in the next month, we'll see that leveling off in most of the country. And then as we go another month after that, we need to get the numbers down pretty dramatically so that then we can look at what activities we start to open back up. I never lived through anything this dramatic. Did the Depression changed humanity? World War II changed humanity. The 2008 recession to some degree changed things. This is much bigger than that 2008 thing, or anything that I've ever experienced. And so it's hard to predict. There's, simple things like, will people take less business trips? Will people, be afraid of foreign travel, I am concerned. Will this drive us together within the country and across countries to, solve a global problem like this? Or will it have us say, okay, we just need to hunker down and just, isolate at various tribal or national type levels? I see the cooperation of scientists globally, enabled by these digital connections is phenomenal. We did the genetics on this virus very quickly. That was very informative. The testing and understanding in many countries got going very quickly. We are very much in uncharted territory, and so the fact that I saw this as a risk doesn't mean that I understand the broad, deep effects, many of which are sadly, scary and potentially negative. In my lifetime, this will be the greatest economic hit. But you don't have a choice. People act like you have a choice. People don't feel like going to the stadium when they might get infected. It's not the government who's saying, okay, just ignore this disease. And, people are deeply affected by seeing these deaths, by knowing they could be part of the transmission chain, and old people, their parents, their grandparents could be affected by this. And so you don't get to say ignore what's going on here. There will be the ability, particularly in rich countries, to open up if things are done well over the next few months. But for the world at large, normalcy only returns when we've largely vaccinated the entire global population. And so, although there's a lot of work on testing, a lot of work on drugs that we're involved with, trying to achieve that ambitious goal, which has never been done for the vaccine, that rises to the top of the list. Well, the next 2 months, hopefully we, get that cases down and we're so good at that point of quick turnaround testing, contact tracing testing, that we have, and some ongoing measures like no big public gatherings, spacing. Will masks be part of that? We don't know. We're trying to do the experiments to see how much that reduces transmission. China is using that, but they're also using temperature tests. We'll see how effective that is. We don't know how seasonal this virus is. If it is seasonal, then we'll start to see the benefit of that and reduce force of infection in the Northern Hemisphere over the next few months. Sadly, that would mean the Southern Hemisphere would be going into the strong season. Right now, the assumption is that it's not very seasonal, just because that's kind of the worst case assumption. And these measures can help us even if it's not seasonal. If it is seasonal, as you say, yes, our vigilance will have, that might be relaxed a tiny bit in the summer, will have to go back up in the fall. As long as people are moving around within the country, we're all in this together. It's not likely we're going to partition the country into all sorts of separate pieces, because things like food and electricity, there are essential functions where we still want people to be connected. So it'll help everyone get out of this more quickly and reduce the deaths and reduce the economic reduction if we implement these strong isolation measures on a countrywide basis.
A lot of you kept asking for it, DMing me on social about us having a podcast. We do now have a podcast. It's called the Super U Podcast, just the letter U as in university. And the Super U Podcast is just designed to unlock and unleash your inner superpower. So subscribe to the Super U Podcast today. Thank you for joining us today. And until next time, remember, it's not what we take from the world, it's what we leave behind. But you know what? The reason is because right now with the baby, that I know this because she's basically sleep deprived, so everything's kind of wild. So one time my wife always gives me a hard time because I all of a sudden was freaking out. We had our second kid, and I go, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby?" And she goes, "You're holding her?"